Alright, today we're going to go over reloading 223, but it's really just a video on simple reloading. This is for beginners that want to start out. It's not an advanced video, so please, if you are an advanced reloader, there's no need in chiming in on how simple this is and how everybody already knows this. This is simply an educational forum for brand new reloaders. So the big thing here is you're going to use 223 today. It's very simple. It's these are Lake City brass, and we're gonna actually go ahead and do these. Now, one of the things that's really important when you have a necked case like this, you can see it's a necked case, is to lubricate it. And there's two ways you can do that. You can do it with the case lube from RCBS, which I do use quite a bit of, but I'm not going to use today. But I'm going to use this One Shot by Hornady. Great stuff. You can just spray it on. You don't need a lot, and just gets it right there. You don't want to stick your case inside your die. It's hard to get out and it takes time. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to do this quite simply without any pitfalls. So lubricating your cases for resizing is super key. Alright, now that we're looking at our little press here, we're going to take one of our cases and we're going to put it in our press. The press has already been set to the right size, and we're going to punch that primer out and resize it. Now let's take a look. So we punched out the primer and we resized it. Now, one thing you might wonder about, and I know that I certainly had an issue with this at one point in time when I was starting out, is resizing them to the right size. The necks, what you're going to see here is if you are reloading and you can see very closely, there will be, which you're probably not going to be able to pick up on this video, there will be a line down here somewhere. And when you resize your brass, if your line only goes halfway down here, that's not correct. You want to make sure that that goes all the way down to spec. Otherwise, this has expanded because it's been a once fired case. It's not going to cycle into your rifle correctly. That's going to cause a big problem. So you really want to get that guy, you want to make sure that that line is down there to spec, okay? So that's really important. Now the primer pocket right here, it's really dirty. So we're going to go through and we are going to clean that as well. Now the other thing that you can see here, probably, yeah, you can. See that little line right there? It's called a military crimp. And if they've military crimped them, you're gonna need to really kind of work that crimp out of there a little bit, and I'll show you what I do, because otherwise you're not going to be able to seat that primer very well, and it's going to cause all kinds of trouble. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and resize these other three, and then we're going to move on and we will just go ahead and reprime everything. So now we're just going to go ahead and clean these pockets out. We're also going to clean the neck. Now you don't have to do that. In fact, you don't actually have to always clean the primer pocket if you don't want to. Some people would say that that's just terrible, but I know I've reloaded before and I didn't do that. It's really up to you. Now there's two ways you can do this. You can clean your primer pocket out. You can use one of these. I'll show you how to use that. Or what I use more, or one of these, two different sizes for your small primers and for your large primers. So we'll show you how to do it with each one of those, and then that way you're able to kind of see how this works. And right here, so what we want to do is we want to take that, we want to brush that out. You can blow it out a little bit. Now see how clean that is? It's a very good way. Actually, that brush is good. I should probably start using that again. And you can see that there's a difference there. Now that one's not a filthy one. Maybe this one is. One's a little bit dirty, but we can get them real clean this way. Okay, so we'll set that down. And then we'll use this other one. So this one is a similar type of a deal. And that gets it pretty clean too. So we'll just go ahead and get this. Good. Now, what we're going to do here for cleaning out the necks, all we do is take our little brush guy that we had on our handle, right on off, set it aside, and what we're going to use is, you can see that this is actually, I'll give you a closer look, this is not a metal brush, it is actually a plastic type bristle brush. And all you do is you take your necks and you clean them out a little bit. Not a big deal. So we'll take those guys and get their necks all cleaned out. Pretty simple process, really. And they sell one for a larger one too if you're reloading something a little bit bigger. I mean, it's not all about just reloading 223. And these steps apply to everything that you might reload, at least for a necked case. Alright, so we talked about that military crimp. Military crimp being right there on the edge. We got to get rid of the military crimp. So I just use a deburring tool. And I just take it and I just give it a very light little spin. And it gives it just enough of a fix where you can reprime it nice and easy. You don't have to do anything more than that. I've never had a problem with it. I do have a problem dropping my brass. Let's do one more. That's all we got to do. Now you can also, if you want to, it's meant for just kind of deburring just a little bit here too. You could do that if you want to. You don't always have to, especially if you haven't trimmed the neck at all. So now let's move into the priming aspect of this. Alright, so now we're going to prime. Now what I'll be using today is some of these guys, these CCI small rifle primers. You can use any primer you want. I'd recommend following the recipe that is in the reloading manual personally, but today for our purposes here we're going to use these CCIs. So we're going to go ahead and load them up, and this is the reloader, just a little hand repriming tool, and all we're going to do here is make sure that our primers are in there right, stick the case right on there like so, and squeeze, and you can see now we're seated with a brand new primer, nice and seated right there. We'll do them all. And that's case prepping, guys. So right now we are ready to load powder and seat bullets. That is your introductory to case prepping. I hope that you have all your questions answered. You're certainly welcome to leave any questions in the comments box below, and we will return your questions promptly. Thanks, guys, and I really hope you appreciate this video and load safe.